I'm going to see if Lin Bang wants to come up and take some photographs because it looks so good. Yeah, I'll get it.
Even if it's a small one, Doug, yeah, that's all right.
My dad, I think. Not as big as Jerry's. Yeah. Now, I want to get this water around the right side of the temple. I do a circumambulation. There we go. Well, I do a circumambulation of the temple, yeah, in an anti-clockwise direction. So, this time, why did I go up there? I don't know. This time, oh, probably because this was on the floor. Yeah, so I had to go up there before, and I went through the tri-spherical trees.
Oh, I'll put a fucking fruit bar.
No, you haven't. What's wrong?
It doesn't matter. We can fit the sheet because we've got to cut the outside sheet anyway.
Yeah.
So we can cut it between here.
Yeah. Remember, what you're doing is number 2 shed prototype. So all the foo bars are very useful. You know, they all add up to us having something to offer to someone else. So you say, like, well, we've been through the whole design process, and we know, you know, by trial and error to some extent. Certainly by experience, we know what works. So, you know, Terry's done number one shed, and this is number 2 shed. And I think we ought to draw this up at this point, the 3 of us together, put our brains together, you know, and make a drawing with all of the quantity surveying done, and well, possibly sell it to people. Right foot into the temple, and right foot over any apparent borderland. So with an attitude like that, we can just enjoy our mistakes. It's a bit like, you know, performing music live. It's never going to be, you know, never is. So this is the center line. Yeah. Little left foot that was. Oh, those numbers. Look at the numbers. That's you, right.
That's the bit.
Yeah, where's that go?
That makes front bit sturdy.
Right. Do you want to put it at an angle so that the roof... Well, it's not necessary really. I think Terry wanted it at an angle.
This one, because
Yeah.
they're all separate bits.
Yeah,
Like this one is one piece, isn't it?
yeah,
These are all separate.
yeah,
So that top bit on there, so we can tie that all in.
yeah, nice.
Okay?
Do you want a step ladder
It just,
to get up
I
there?
will do.
Yeah,
It just steps it up that little bit.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you do that full.
yeah. A little bit more height on that front side is a good idea anyway.
Alright?
Alright? Yay! He's the hero of the scene. Now let's have a look at how we're doing here. This is going to take a while to fill up. I suppose we're about a third so far. Well, you know I wanted a well. You know I wanted a well? Yeah, and I didn't want a dry well. I wanted a well with water in it. So this is my well, and this concern I have that creatures might have fallen into it. Look, there are some creatures here. Yeah, buzzing around. If it's filled up and I leave a little ladder at the side, then they could be like a swimming pool instead of a death trap. Lots of creatures living around here. I get some really big black beetles, Dean. I don't know if you do in your garden. Do you? I think we'll keep it nice and warm for them, but leave a little bit of a gap. So that the flying creatures can come out, because they're probably hatching from eggs and larvae or something. And here we are on the centre line again. This is the place. This is a really nice place. This is the very end of my garden. My garden. He's in his garden. I wrote a song about English garden, so inspired by John Lennon a bit. What?
So what do you do when you want to go away? In an English country garden.
My song went, sitting in an English garden, waiting for you.
That's part of Summerley the Pilchards.
Is it?
It is. It's already been done.
Oh, they're all just nursery rhymes and lullabies from childhood, aren't they, really? Yeah. Poor unrecognised creatives like us. Do you like being a creative?
Well, at least we can walk down the street without us.
That's true. Poor old Ed Sheeran. He's really landed himself in the shit now, hasn't he?
Did you know, right, they closed Nando's when he done that concert just for him to have his chicken. How ridiculous.
Poor chap.
Poor chap. So unsociable, isn't it?
They should have closed Nando's forever, I think. Then we'd have something to be grateful for. Thank you, Ed Sheeran, you closed Nando's for Ipswich Town. We're now a Nando's free zone. When they had that concert in Chantry Park, the bass was shaking our house. Was it shaking your house? I mean, it's just across from the valley. There's nothing really to absorb the vibration between us and Chantry Park. But we are, I don't know, a couple of miles away. And I swear that they turned the bass right up and our house was shaking. Left foot to leave the temple. You didn't notice that. I suppose your ear is so messed up you can't really...
It was horrible.
Yeah.
Because it was humming.
Yeah.
You know when you can hear yourself speak?
Yeah.
You know, in your head, right, you know? Because your ear's blocked. So that bass from that concert, that was...
Yeah, you could hear it then.
Yeah,
Mm.
Take nothing away from the guy. I don't like him, his music.
No, I don't like the music, no.
Okay.
Well, I think we can do better, let's put it like that. I mean, we can write catchy pop songs. We have done, hundreds of them. So, I mean, I was asking Nick, what is it that Ed Sheeran has that we don't have, or that he doesn't have? Because Nick's, you know, a brilliant songwriter. He said, I just never had the courage, you know. But I think it's the mother. Nick never had a mother. You don't have a mother. My mother's the mother from hell. And Ed Sheeran's mother is just a total sweetie pops. I reckon that's probably all it takes. It's just a loving, supportive mother. I mean, just what naturally you would expect, really.
Yeah.
Did you have a mother figure instead?
Me?
Yeah. Instead of your biological mother.
No, the sisters.
Sisters, yeah. But they're not really the same as mothers, are they?
Well, my sister Lorna, because I was so young, 5, so yeah, she was the mother figure. She done the job.
Yeah.
Don't know if it's a good job. I'm not a bad person, so.
Well, Rod's mum is a Richardson, as I said. She was deeply spiritual and religious. One of his sisters was a witch. is a witch, was a witch. So you can imagine in the 1970s, among those kind of people, you know, because rock and roll took a satanic turn in the early 70s. Even Peter Green went off to Switzerland or somewhere, dropped a lot of acid and got totally converted by some weird German-speaking cult.
All right.
You know Peter Green?
No, who's that?
Never recovered. Fleetwood Mac, original guitarist. You know Peter Green.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And he never recovered.
What, the curly-haired guy?
Yeah. Who else? Well, obviously Black Sabbath, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's the same sister. I think it was Peter Frampton's girlfriend. So Rod, like you, was the baby. But unlike you, his mum was alive. And she was, you know, well connected in this strange London world of artists and scoundrels and criminals and murderers and prostitutes,
It's not nice, is it? Do you want to roll that
drug
over?
dealers. Yeah, that looks really nice. I love that. Hang on,
Yeah, I'll put the tea up there.
don't put the tea on. It's not a shelf yet. And you see, Ipswich is the overflow from the East End of London. That's the way this town has gone, you know. It wasn't originally. It was like a sort of professional town for Ipswich. For Suffolk, Ipswich was like, you know, a place where you went to see the solicitor or the bank or whatever back in the 1930s. You know, if you go back to the 17th and 18th century, this was the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, with the Quakers building the first farm machinery, you know. And a lot of Suffolk people went to Australia, so the Suffolk accent has been taken over to Australia. Did you know that? But you won't hear people in Ipswich speaking with a Suffolk accent, because they speak estuary English from East End, like you do. I mean, you're a classic, you know. You come out of the East End and settled in Ipswich. You haven't gone to Woodbridge or Sudbury or Bury St Edmunds or Norwich. Colchester's full of squaddies, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Essex is where a lot of successful pop stars ended up buying their mansions, isn't it? Essex and Surrey and Wiltshire, I suppose. If you're people like Madonna or Sting, you've got some pad down in Wiltshire, haven't you?
Right.
It's all south of England money
What I'm trying
coming
to do,
out of London. Yeah.
I'm trying to save them as much wooden now as possible. So I'm doing it this way round. Might seem weird, but it's just to save
I'm going to
the
check up on my well. Well. Hey, look! We're almost at the top.
Doug,
Yeah,
lean a little bit away. Just
Yeah.
on this point here.
okay.
Just a little bit. Not hanging out.
Good?
Done it, yeah.
Good?
That then. Yeah. I think I'll use some of them little small nails to get one through on that side.
Do you need me to stay here?
If you do the same the other side,
Yep. I think that's going to start overflowing soon. Can I just turn this off first?
you can.
Darling, can you turn the water off, please? Yeah. I'm just filling up that barrel at the end of the garden. I'll turn it off here, but if you can turn it off inside too, that would be great. Thanks. Well, third ring of the bell, and that's the last one for today. Can you just unhook that for us?
Alright,
Ah, thanks. We'll have to sort this out later. It's a little bit of a bugger's muddle, isn't it? There we go. They'll all be knotted up together by now. So,
stop that there, Dan.
yeah.
Right, half of 94.
45 plus 2. No. Yeah, 45, 47. Wondering about this wall. Maybe you could leave this wall open for me.
No,
Yeah,
just put a bit of pressure on this.
yeah.
Just push it into that.
Maybe that other wall opposite could leave open.
Hopefully.
So get the roof settling in maybe. Something about light. God. It would be really nice. I just
You're going to have a lot of light with that. That's a big window.
just wonder whether we could have it open and we could finish the job later on and or whatever. Or maybe
I'll close it. Close it inside.
This is an idea.
Personally, that's what I
I
think.
just really like the look of this.
Because you're going to need that to support the end of the roof
Then
as well.
I might be able to get. Oh, I'm being silly, aren't I? Oh, why am I so silly?
The shed has 4 walls and a roof.
The shed has 4 walls and a roof. I know, and I just wanted the hole in the ground, really, going all the way to the centre of the earth.